If you want to learn strategies which are known to help you get 3 stars, then this video is for you. We are going to be showcasing attacks from the Clash of Clans World Championship Qualifier and Crunch Time's first crack at this. They were getting 3 stars after 3 stars with a variety of strategies. So let's go ahead and recap them for you today so that you can hopefully take this forward into your own gameplay. Alrighty guys, let's dive straight into this. For those of you that do not know, in order to qualify into the qualifiers, you have to place either in the top 4 of the entire game in the Clan War Leagues, or you register your team of 5 and battle through ESL play. This month, you basically had to win 6 matches on the bounce in order to make it to Poland, and we'll see how Crunch Time got on. This was their first matchup against Cloud21. Kevin getting a 3-star here beautifully with the Queen charge into LavaLoon. Setting up the funnel on either side sends the Queen directly in, and notice what we've already taken out. A multi-inferno, the enemy Queen, the Eagle Artillery, the Clan Castle troops are now getting drawn down to the Queen. But one thing I want you to notice is the amount of spells that Kevin commits here. He's actually only got 3 haste spells for the LavaLoon portion, so really committing a lot to the Queen charge to get that value. But since we only have 3 spell slots, the LavaLoon is quite good for that, because you tend not to need a whole host of spells, unlike the Miners, Hog Riders, where you tend to need the heal spells. Note how the Stone Slammer comes straight towards the Town Hall, but then we have a fantastic spread of the balloons from either angle here to really condense their fire into the middle, and that's going to help them move straight the way through towards the back end of the base here. That's the deadly part. We've got a Wizard Tower, a Multi-Inferno, but we have to save a haste spell for that. So 2 of them already used. There's one of them got to be used on this far end, but look at how many is left, allowing that Stone Slammer through as well. If you can save onto the Siege Machine for your LavaLoon portion, you definitely want to try and do that, because the Stone Slammer can add huge value. But throughout this tournament, they used a variety of strategies at Crunch Time. LavaLoon, you'll see Hog Rider attacks. I've got a Miner attack coming up. Different variations of LavaLoon. You will enjoy these ones. If you're new to the channel though, be sure to subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my Clash of Clans content. For this one, Crunch Time were able to get the victory 11-9 with 88.4% total destruction. Let's move across to the next war. The second war was against Team Feta and Fail Time, managing to get a 3-star here, accelerating the chances of Crunch Time winning this war. Initially uses a couple of air troops in order to test for any air troops within the clan castle. If there's ground troops in there and you are using an air-based attack, so long as they can't attack up towards the air troops, then they won't even be lured. So only a baby dragon came out initially. I can tell you there's 2 ice golems in there, hence why they weren't lured out. So we're now using the Sui heroes. Notice the wall breaker deployment here. It's absolutely fantastic to open up this area. Uses a test wall breaker first because there's a chance there could be a small bomb there. Then freezes the multi, got to be done, because that multi can reach the wall breakers, allows the Queen just enough access into the base in order to take that out. Now not only is she taking out a multi-inferno, which is huge value for that LavaLoon, especially when you're trying to use Lalo for the entire base, we've actually carved out this area of the base, meaning that the Lalo doesn't have to even go there. So in the previous attack, huge amounts of resources used for the Queen charge, reverse on this one. Unfortunately, the King does lure the ice golems, but it doesn't really matter because the Queen is going to go down here, pops that ability in order to get the enemy Queen, then she will take damage and go down, and the ice golems, again, they weren't lured by that initial air portion, and that's because they can't attack the air troops. So at this point, it really doesn't matter. It might just mean that it distracts the minions towards the end. That's why people tend to take an archer to pull a lava hound or something like that to the end of the edge of the map. However, we digress. LavaLoon comes heavily from that top area, gets that town hall early on, but also gets to the Eagle artillery. Two key things to get down. Laloing from the other side, we'd be left with the town hall as the absolute last building. Not a great idea when you're doing this. You've always got to have a plan B. So Failtime would have had to probably save onto the slammer in order to potentially send that in there, and he probably then wouldn't have had enough power to get through the base. So you've kind of got to come into the town hall on that side. Obviously managed to get the eagle down as well, and all of the spell usage means that we protect majority of the loons, and this one is an absolute blowout. Beautiful attack. You've kind of seen the variations there in terms of queen charge, a big kill squad for the Lalo and just using the Lalo for the back end, and using a large amount of troops for the Lalo. So let's move to a different strategy, but wrapping up the second war, crunch time, again winning 11-9, 84% total destruction. Beautiful stuff. Let's move to the third war of this tournament. The third war was against Les Ferrots, and this base is a common design. Obviously things get changed, but we've seen this kind of teaser style base before. If you guys are interested in joining Crunch Time, maxed out Town Hall 12 players who are interested in competitive play, this is the place for you. On this base, we're able to set up the funnel initially with a baby dragon and loon to this side to drive the queen up and around towards that town hall. Now notice as well a couple of wizards that are used towards the bottom here to snipe off these buildings. That's very important to keep the queen driving through the defenses and not shooting out to the side. One, it could kind of pull her off her course, if you will, but also she's then taking out the defenses quicker. You know that this area down to the town hall is going to be trapped, Tesla'd, everything. So a queen charge is a good way of counteracting that. Be sure to take note of that, guys, if you see a base like this, but just know that you have to commit a huge amount of spells to it. If you undercommit, you will lose your queen and it will be disaster. That is what that style of base aims to do. So you've got to commit enough spells to it, but if you can set up a funnel cheaply, which we did, Balloon and Baby Dragon, it can free your king up to set up the funnel on the other side. That's kind of a requirement for miners. So you can see the king is able to push around this top area to allow the miners through the middle, because you've got to set up the funnel for the miners. They're able to push straight in towards a multi, towards the eagle. Try and get the eagle down as soon as you can if you are using miners. Now Jonas will definitely have been kicking himself, accidentally used the heal instead of the slammer at the top there, but hey, 3 stars a base whilst swagging a spell. Scary moment, we've all done it, but the base identification means that it really doesn't matter. You can tell people on voice with him as well. Send in a loon there, try and snipe off that multi-inferno. I love the idea of that. Unfortunately hits a black air bomb, but look at how many troops are left over. Miners coming across to it, queen still there with the healers. Beautiful attack, really taking advantage of the base. So if you see a base like that, just know that that is a strategy which could work. Even if they didn't get the 3 stars, the third war was in the bag. 11-10, 91%, so well up on percent there and total destruction. Let's move across to war number 4. At this point, war number 4 against the Relators, just know that there are only 32 teams remaining. So when it starts out, there are 260 teams or whatever it is, and every round 50% of them get knocked out. So there's only half of them that move to the next round. There's 32 at this point, and only the top 4 qualify for the qualifiers and go to Poland, so there is still a couple of rounds left. Jonas getting another 3-star here though, using the Hog Riders, the Queen charge into Hog Riders, and we did a interview with Itsu, the former #1 player in the world, member of Tribe Gaming. I will be sure to link that pro tips interview at the end of this one in case you missed it. But Jonas starts out beautifully here, setting up the funnel at the north of the base and down towards the bottom as well. The king able to run all of the way around. You always want to try and use your king as the funnel because you don't want him going in ahead of the queen. The queen is a ranged troop, so she tends to stand back. The king, not being a ranged troop, will move ahead of your queen, and that means he's prone to taking more of the fire, and the healers will more than likely switch to him. So try and use him to funnel in order to keep the healers onto your queen. Lava Hound in the CC for this, not ideal for a queen charge because it does slow her down, but really it's not going to matter on this one. Jonas is able to take out the town hall, which for Hog Riders is very important. For Hogs, they will go down to that Gigabomb, so you have to use the Grand Warden's ability on it if you haven't already taken it down. The Eagle is massive for Hog Riders though. You've got to try and get that early on. So coming in from a couple of different angles at the top here to try and converge the Hogs to the Eagle Artillery. That's why we have some Hogs sprinkled in from the right, in order to ensure some of them get to that Eagle, get it down early on. We weren't quite able to get the queen. If you can use that Grand Warden's ability, it can be enough to just about get past her and, you know, protect the Hogs. But just know if they are not under that ability of the Grand Warden, the queen will be one-shotting the Hogs pretty much. They will be going down fast. So try and get that queen. In this one, we are able to get the Hogs past it. The queen charge worked well enough, although we missed the queen and didn't get her until the end, that the Hogs were able to take out that bottom area of the base. We had miners sneaking into the middle as well in order to help out with trash buildings, and the party wizards take advantage of them. They are so much quicker than the regular wizards. They do more damage, so make sure you are using them. Now guys, wait until you see this. 13-10 total domination in round 4. Moving on to round 5, very exciting stuff. Let's move on to that one. Round 5 against the very popular GS. You guys know GS, they've actually been to Poland already, almost qualified in fact, for the finals. They were super close to winning the qualifiers outright. So a very well-known clan, granted their players are a little bit different here, but super competitive Japanese clan. You can see the flag at the top there, but Crunch Time were up against them, and only 16 clans remain at this point. Kevin getting it done again, but I love the Electron which is used here. Using the king and queen to just kind of take apart the base at either side, take out defenses, open up a straight shot towards the multi. So the initial balloon comes in, testing for any black bombs because we've got that slammer to send in as well, and if there's a black bomb there, that can do major damage onto the slammer. So as that comes in, notice who's standing there, the queen. Very important to get down for that Lalo. So once the Electro Dragon and the balloon comes out, we use the clone, we've got the rage, they are going to tear through that part of the base very quickly. Queen goes down, and we have basically created a huge funnel by taking out the entire top area of the base here as well. So a brilliant start to this one. Again, you've got to ensure that you are going to get that 2 stars as well. So coming in with the Lalo straight towards the Eagle, also reinforcing around this way so that we can basically merge the balloons together into this central area, and notice which defense is there as well, the Giga Tesla. So once we get there, we will be at the 51%, it will be activated. There's the balloons, we've converged them into that central area, meaning that they will go on to the town hall. Had we not have done that, there is a chance that they would have just moved all of the way around the outside and completely missed this middle. So you've got to bring them in from each angle in order to get them to the town hall. Kevin did a fantastic job there, and yes, gets a 3-star against GS. Now obviously we know GS are not going out without a fight. Crunch Time get their first 3-star, but they weren't finished there. Remember, this is 5v5, so even 1 or 2 3-stars is an incredible achievement and really will help boost your chances of getting the victory. Let's move though to another 3-star that Crunch Time got against GS. The second 3-star for Crunch Time versus GS was by Faith. Now he is a Twitch streamer. Any of you guys that are on Twitch, I've dropped his channel link down in the description of this video. Be sure to head on over there and drop him a follow. Obviously very worthy of that. This one is the Electron into that LavaLoon again. So we showed you initially the attack by Kevin, the Queen charge Lalo. You then seen the hero dive, or the Sui hero into Lalo. Now you've seen the Electron. So definitely a strategy which can be proven to work in the competitive play, and no doubt you guys know that Hog Riders and Miners most certainly work as well for clan war leagues, for ESL, for the world championships, competitive clash play. These strategies will work and serve you well. Similar stuff here. We've actually opened up an area whereby we can access the multi and get in there towards the eagle and the queen as well by using the king on one side, the queen on the other. Obviously the queen can reach defense. We can then easily target the multi. You don't always have to do that. You could just send the Electron in straight away. You wouldn't have to use your heroes on that area. It might actually make sense to Sui them on the other side of the base and use the Electron itself. It just depends on the base. But on this one, opening up the area to send the slammer to the multi made sense. And look at the damage we get here. Taking out the queen, taking out the clan castle, but more importantly, taking out a huge section of the base. Notices that some of the expos were on ground, takes advantage of that, of an air attack. Again, had we have Lalo'd from the opposite side, we'd be hitting the town hall last. Not ideal, so we come in from that town hall. Again, we have a minion onto the eagle here, and this is when you know people are on voice. Send a couple of minions in towards that eagle to get it down quicker. You can see they come in from the bottom, and that is top play. 3 minions will get that down. That is probably, for the sake of 2 minions, going to save him 1 if not 2 eagle artillery fires. So brilliant stuff there, easily able to finish off the rest of the base. I always like it when you see the heal spells and the bigger spells used in the Lalo as well to good effect. And look at how many loons are left over in this one, meaning that Crunch Time got another 3-star in this war. Now let me tell you, for 99% of these wars where it is 5v5, that would have been enough, but GS are an incredible clan, aren't they? It was 94% to GS, almost 95, 91 to Crunch Time. I believe we had a 94 as well, which is super close, but granted, they had a very high 90s attack as well. But there you are, guys. Unfortunately, Crunch Time went out at the last hurdle. GS have successfully qualified for the World Championship qualifiers. They did have one more round after this, which they won. So you will be seeing GS in the World Championship August qualifiers. You guys can look forward to that. Thank you to Crunch Time again. I'm obviously very involved with them. Appreciate them dropping me a line in order to come and showcase their journey. And if you guys want to see the video where we had Itsu on the channel, he broke down the Hog Rider attack, I'm going to link it here for you. You definitely find that one useful if competitive play is your thing. But that wraps it up for this one. Until next time, peace out.